now.
Well, Lou did a good job, Wimpy, on that acceptance speech. It took him the whole time before he finally lost it a little bit there at the end, but you certainly can't blame him. 10 great years out here, and you know yourself, they had some terrific players. They had some terrific ball clubs. 116 wins in 2001. But you can look at the situation here. This is a place. It's a wonderful town. The fans are terrific. But it's got the toughest travel in all the sports.
Well, no question about it. Of course, with the charter flights now, it's not quite as difficult. But, you know, it was tough to win in Seattle. But I think Ichiro said it best when he said you have to have a great leader.
Yeah.
In order to succeed, you have to have someone that, whether he's right or wrong, he's going to take responsibility for his actions, and he will be the guy to do it. And you have to be strong to do that. And I think Lou just epitomized to that. And to get the respect of a great player like Ichiro, I thought was special.
I thought he was a bridge to several things, the travel being one of them, because, you know, it's easy for players, you know, to bitch and moan about, you know, the travel this and travel that, because most of the time they were traveling on their off days. But Lou did a great job here. In fact, he did a great job everywhere he ever managed, and it was just wonderful to see Anita, his beautiful wife of 47 years, and their children, their grandchildren, all here, and the Mariner organization for having a lot of love for Lou Piniella.
How about the fans?
All right, umpires at the plate, and we'll be back with the lineups right after this.
Perfect night for baseball as the Mariners take the field for Game 3 of this 4-game set. The M's have won the first 2 games, and the Sox looking for some revenge against a tough young left-hander for the Seattle Ball Club. And here's Robin Ventura's starting lineup for the Sox. The top third has third baseman Lurie Garcia, and in center field Alejandro Diaza, and DHing tonight is Jose Abreu. The middle third of Diane Visayedo, who has been swinging the bat very well in left field. Alexi Ramirez at shortstop, and Paul Konerko is at first base. Bottom third features Tyler Flowers behind the plate, Moises Sierra in right field, and Gordon Beckham brings up the rear at second base. The defense for the Mariners, Ackley, Jackson, and Chavez are the outfielders. Seager, Taylor, Cano, Morales around the horn. And the pitching matchup tonight, Mike Zunino behind the plate, and James Paxton is our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher for the Mariners. He's a good one. 3 starts, 2-0, 2.76 earned run average. He can definitely punch you out. He's got a fastball they say is in the high 90s. So we'll look forward to seeing that today. He doesn't give up a whole lot of hits, and they're not hitting for a very high average against him, just 175 so far this season. So the umpires are good friends in blue. They are Mike DeMuro is at home plate, Marvin Hudson at first base, Toby Bashner at second, and Hunter Wendelstadt is the third base umpire. So the Sox trying to get back in it. The Mariners have been red hot. They've been winning. They swept the Atlanta Braves a 2-game series. They've won 2 more against the Sox, so they're trying to keep it going. They still have a shot at the American League wild card. And there's Robin Ventura. He is a bit perplexed. The Sox have either been playing very, very good baseball or very poorly. So hopefully we'll get back on track today. As you look at Lloyd McClendon, who's done a nice job as the Seattle skipper. He's got these guys at a 61-54 record. They are in 3rd place in the American League West. Jordan Danks was just called up today from Charlotte as Adam Eaton was put on the disabled list, Hawk, and I hope that doesn't last for too long. So we are ready for baseball, and here's the Hawkaroo.
All right, Wimpy, thank you. And once again, good evening, everyone, and welcome to White Sox baseball right here on Comcast Sportsnet. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as big 6'4" Southpaw's first pitch is a strike to Leury Garcia. Sox come in hitting at .258 as a club with a 4.43 ERA. And we're on a 4-game losing streak, and the Mariners on a 4-game winning streak. This is the 6th meeting of the year between these two clubs. In the first 5, they have won 3 of them. Outfield slightly to the right, and that's foul back. And here at Safeco Field, 331 down the left field line, 326 down the right field line, 380 in right center, 376 in left center, and 401 dead away center. I see Lou out there behind second base. Big crowd on hand to see his induction, the 8th Mariner in the history of this franchise to go into their Hall of Fame. Here you go. Won it.
Well, they talk about in the scouting report, this guy has low heat. He throws the ball in the mid to upper 90s, but he keeps the ball down. As you can see, that last pitch to Leury was a fastball he had no chance on, just below the strike zone.
Well, you don't see a whole bunch of guys can throw hard down low. You see a lot of guys can throw hard upstairs, and it's amazing.
Yeah, talking to the coaches for the Mariners, that's what their scouting report is. What they told me. It says this guy's got great stuff down. A lot of movement.
So here's Diaz hitting at .243. Alejandro, 5 homers, 30 knocked in. Abreu on deck. And that's shanked foul. So very quickly the count 0-2. Yeah, when you look at that 175 batting average against from James Paxton, and you look at the 16 in the 3rd, 18 strikeouts, only 5 walks. Pretty impressive. Plus, he is 5-0. He was 3-0 last year, 2-0 this year. Out of Richmond in British Columbia.
You don't get many hard-throwing left-handers out of Richmond, British Columbia. There's a nasty breaking ball right there.
So, 2 out. Let's check out our picks to click tonight. Jim and Joe, our director and the crew. Well, they went with Moises. Wimpy and Steve going with Paulie. And Mike Mazza, Kenny Wiz, Tom Eichstadt, Pete Catazone, Liz Mealy, Laura Arenas, Mary Weiss, Nick Bristow, John, Charles Johnson. We're going to go with the man at the on deck circle right now, Tank, Diane Viciedo.
Well, he's swinging it better than anybody else. We have a
Mike DeMuro must have.
He must have got that last fall. The ball in the dirt must have hopped up and hit him. Remember his dad, Lou DeMuro?
Oh, yeah.
He was a great guy.
Oh,
he really was a nice man. Let's take a look. In the dirt, bouncing. Oh, yes.
Got him in the neck.
Ooh.
Underneath the mask.
That's some bad luck right there. You see that thing just reversed itself. Reverse action.
Rick Griffin, head trainer. Yeah. Mike's dad, Lou DeMuro, was one of the nicest umpires or nicest people you ever want to meet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he says he's all right.
But that was really a peculiar bounce. It's going one way and spun back to the right. Take another look at it. Up through Zunino, and right in the neck. Ugh.
So here's Abreu. At 302, 31 homers and 86 knocked in. He's 1 for 6 in this series.
It's hard to believe, in Ed Hawk, you're going to have to tell the Sox hitters to make him get the ball up. Apparently.
Evidently.
Thank you, Harold.
There's the strike.
There it is, right at the bottom.
There at 94. Well, you'll find more left-handers that can throw hard down low than right-handers. And when you run across a right-hander that can throw hard down low, you got your problems. Big time. That's just foul.
Well, I know Seaver could really throw down low hard. About the knees on the outside corner. Just paint you.
Cincinnati had a right-hander named Jim Maloney who could throw hard down there. And, of course, Bob Gibson.
Oh, yeah.
So he strikes out the side, and after half inning of play, it's our guys nothing, and their guys coming to bat.
By their skipper, Lloyd McClendon. Top third of Ackley in left field, Robinson Cano at second base, and Kendry Morales plays first. The middle third of Kyle Seager at third, Mike Zunino behind the plate, and Logan Morrison DHing. Chris Taylor and Andy Chavez bring up the rear. I meant Austin Jackson is in the leadoff spot. He's up there right now. Defensively, for the Sox, it's Viciedo, Diaza, and Sierra. In the outfield, Garcia, Ramirez, Beckham, and Konerko are the infielders. Flowers and Hector Noesi. Throwing his first pitch is our Lexus Pursuing Perfection starting pitcher.
Fighting that sun and gets the nice job done right there by Moises with the glasses on and shading with the glove.
Well, that's a tough play. We saw that.
This guy has shown us he's a good outfielder.
Yeah. Well, he played that perfectly. He stuck that glove right in the sun, and then he maneuvered himself so he got a clear picture of what was going on. That was a good job. Tough play.
Got a little angle there. So here's Ackley. Aaron is hitting at .245 as a club with a 3.02 ERA. That's pretty good. 3.02 ERA in the American League.
That's unheard of. I think we got to lower the mound a little bit, Hawk. What do you think? That's what they did. Last time pitchers were dominating like this.
And has popped up left side of Alexei.
And our Lexus pitcher tonight is Hector Noesi. Hector pitched well his last game. He beat the Texas Rangers. Record of 6-8 on the year, 4.97 earned run average. But he pitched 7 solid innings on the 4th. Gave up 4 hits, just 1 earned run. He struck out 6 while walking 3. Hopefully more of that tonight.
So here's Cano hitting at .335. 9 homers, 64 knocked in. He's 3 for 6 with a home run and 2 RBIs in this series.
Good fastball right there. Jammed him.
Why not? Back in there, double him up.
I think you got a better chance of getting him out inside than you do away. 10-game hitting streak, 412. That's good. Of course, the Sox have been, any chance they get, they walk him intentionally.
And pops him up with another 95-mile-an-hour fastball. So that didn't take long. 1, 2, 3, and after 1, no score.
Against the Tampa Bay Rays. Coverage begins at 12:30 with Cubs pregame live, presented by Fields Auto Group. Cubs Rays tomorrow at 12:30 on Comcast Sportsnet.
Viciedo, Ramirez, and Canerco here in the top of the second. Takes ball 1. Tank 2 for 8 in the series. Both of them. Both those hits left the premises.
You know, now I just figured out why you took Tank Walker, even though you had last pick. He is an excellent low ball hitter, and this guy's a low ball pitcher. You
right.
Outsmarted us, didn't you?
You had a shot. Jammed him in the center field.
And he got that one up. Got it in on him.
Sox fans, come out to USA the Field for free T-shirt Mondays. Now, on Monday, August 8th, first 20,000 fans will receive a Chris Sale T-shirt. That's Monday, August 18th. First 20,000 fans receive a free Chris Sale T-shirt. Watch the Sox take on the Orioles at 7:10, and tickets start at just $7. Alexei takes strike one. He's 1 for 8 in the series with an RBI. He comes in hitting at .289, 11 homers and 57 knocked in. For you. Toronto beats Detroit 3-2 in 10 innings up in Canada. Corey Kluber shuts out the Yankees 3-0 in the Bronx. Kluber, one of the best pitchers in the American League.
He's good. He's unnoticed though, isn't he?
Yeah, I'll tell you, he's a big right-hander. First time we saw him this year, he punched out 13 of our guys. Right there, 2 down. And that'll bring up Konerko. Kansas City shutting out the Giants 5-0 top of the ninth at Kauffman Stadium. This big game, James Shields. So Kansas City now with a chance to get within 1.5 games of Detroit.
You called it. You predicted it.
Well, they blew another save, I guess.
Yes, they did.
Detroit.
And Soria apparently left the game with an injury.
Watch out.
Get through it. Look at this guy.
You know, makes it look so easy. A 6 up, 6 down, and after an inning and a half, no score.
Look forward to Miller time later in the game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Bottom of the second inning. Noesi with the 1-2-3 first. He'll have Morales, Seager, and Zunino. Yeah, in that Tiger game, this is a good example of what we talk about. It doesn't make any difference how good your starters are. Scherzer goes 8 innings, gives up 4 hits, 1 run, strikes out 11. Didn't walk anybody. Wow. Nathan comes in the 9th and gives up a run to tie it. Chamberlain comes in at the bottom of the 10th and gives up a run, and they win it 3-2. So on and on it goes.
It's amazing.
Sure it is. Best 5 starters in baseball, and yet just a game and a half lead over Kansas City.
Well, you look at Scherzer's career; he's almost got 190 starts or so in one complete game. So he needs help. And he's a Cy Young Award winner.
I know one thing. If I was a starter on Detroit, and I want to eat, I think I'd find a way to squeeze out.
Exactly.
One more.
I know you're down.
Yep. They're trying to let everybody back in this race.
Tampa Bay shuts out the Cubs 4-0 at Wrigley. Odorizzi over Jackson.
Nice.
He gone. When he uses that occasionally, he doesn't use it a lot, but when he does, it's very effective.
I'd like to see him use this a lot more. Look at this. That's a blue darter down and away. Ball's bouncing up there in the right-handed batter's box. That had a lot of movement. Great 2-strike pitch.
Baltimore thumped St. Louis 10-3.
All right, I'm on your bandwagon for Baltimore now. What a good lord! Those guys can't lose.
They can hit and they can catch.
Yeah.
And they can catch it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're just hitting stride right now, and they look like they're going to just pound their way into the playoffs.
And one guy that's giving them a big lift too was Wieters going down. Caleb Joseph.
Yeah.
He hit another home run today. That's his 8th. Cruz hit his 30th.
Isn't that something? 8 home runs already by this guy. They just, picked him up recently. Called him up.
Yeah, well, he looked great against us. We should have swept him in that series, and bullpen couldn't get it done.
Now look at the AL East right here. Orioles with a 6-game lead over the Yanks and Blue Jays. Rays are 10 back, and the Red Sox pulling up the rear. 67 wins for the O's. They are back.
Yes, they are.
Well, they got a great player in center field. Cruz was a great pickup. We were talking earlier, Hawk. Can you imagine what the Mariners would look like if they still kept Adam Jones?
They'd be fighting for the division.
No doubt.
Instead of a wild card. And Markakis is starting to play again.
Yeah.
Everything's contagious. You know yourself. You played on good clubs. You played on bad clubs. If you're on a bad club, it's contagious. It's a negative contagious.
Mm-hmm.
If you're on a good club, it's a positive contagious. Or contagion. Alexei. So Seager's retired.
Turn that one over on 3-2. That was a nice pitch. So far, I really like the movement that Hector has on all of his pitches.
Chris Davis, not even on the board yet. Wait till he starts. He's hitting 195.
Yeah.
Wait till he starts swinging.
Wow.
They're liable to just run off and hide over there. Zunino, big 3-run homer last night. That was his 18th, and he's just 23 years old. He's a rookie out of the University of Florida. He's driven in 43, and he looks good behind the plate.
Yeah. Yeah, he can catch and throw right now, and he's got big power. I was watching him take batting practice, and he was visiting that upper deck in left and left center field a lot tonight. Well, he's going to hit for a high average, a lot higher average, too, if he learns how to accept a walk now and then. He's only got 11 on the season. Nice.
Pull the string on him. Yeah, when they learn that you have to, of course, that's the learning process, too. They can sit there, hitting coaches, managers, everybody can tell you, hey, you got to take your walks. You got to learn that. And where you learn it? It's through experience, and you know what experience is? Something you got when you didn't want to get it. So that's another 1-2-3 inning, and we're into the third.
Chicago and photo for a chance to have it shown on our broadcast later in the game. Brought to you by AT&T. Haku, that's amazing. They just had a young lady out there celebrating her 103rd birthday.
Very sprightly. So.
You went to school with her, didn't you?
No, she was a couple years ahead of me. She was a senior when I was a sophomore.
That's great. Wow.
Here's Flowers, lower third of our order, as Paxton has retired the first 6. He struck out the side in the first. 1, 2, 3 in the second. Flowers hitting at .248, 8 homers, 39 knocked in. And count 0-2.
What do you think of his motion, Hawk? It's kind of a long arm delivery. Deception?
Probably late movement. Just he's got one of the closer motions windups to an old school guy.
Yeah.
Big separation of the arms. Watch right now. Ball hit hard. Also glove control. Nice play.
Nice play. Chris Taylor's been impressive. That was a tough one right here. Flowers waited back nicely on a breaking ball. Got a short hop, too. And look at it. He keeps it in front of him. Doesn't panic. Knows the speed of the runner. Tyler gets down there pretty quickly. Not quick enough. Yeah, if he would come over the top of his head, he really would be an old time. Reminds you of the old timers.
Well, that shortstop's just 23, like Zanino. I tell you, this guy right here, Jack Zarincic, the general manager, he's got the stuff in good position. Good position. If they make a couple of one in particular deal in the offseason, possibly 2, they might contend. They've got the pitching. There's Moises. And they can catch it.
Yeah, well, they second defensively.
Yeah, they can catch the ball. That's the first rule of the game. Catch the baseball. And when you can catch it and pitch it, they need to get a real strong right-handed bat. When I say strong, not somebody that's going to hit 35, 40 home runs. Just somebody that's driving 70, 80 runs, 90 runs. Hit them 20, 25 home runs.
Yeah. You know, the one thing, too, Hawk, they're going to control these young guys that they have in the bullpen for at least a few more years, so they don't even have to worry about that. And you're right. A couple moves here.
Mr. Paxton has just dispatched with our first 9 in a row.
Grittiest Players, Andrew Shaw, presented by Cadillac. Join Pat Boyle for an exclusive interview one-on-one with the scrapper who overcame the odds and sacrificed his body to win it all. Inside Look, Andrew Shaw, presented by Cadillac, tomorrow at noon on Comcast Sportsnet.
Lower third of the Mariner order here in the bottom of the third. Morrison, Taylor, and Chavez. Logan Morrison, 10-game hitting streak. Hitting at .221, 6 homers, 23 knocked in, 3 for 8 in this series. And the count evens at 1. Into center field, short, but Diaz is there. I think they're a 9-game hitting streak for Morrison. And Sox fans, no matter the force you use or the planet that you're from, head out to the ballpark for Star Wars night on Friday, August 29th. You can come dressed in your best Star Wars attire and march in a pregame parade around the field. Also, first 750 fans to purchase will receive a White Sox R2-D2 beanie. So for specially priced tickets, whitesox.com/Star Wars. Chris Taylor cannot check it up. Young man, 4 for 9 in this series and hitting .385 since being inserted into the lineup. Ate him up. 2 down.
Yes, he did. Up and in with the fastball. And he got way deep in his kitchen. A lot of movement. I'll tell you, everything is moving. That fastball and then the pitch off of it. It's a hard changeup at 88 miles an hour, but that fastball at 95, nicely complementing each other up and down.
Well, here was one of the stars in game 1 of this series, Indy Chavez, 36-year-old veteran. 2 for 3 with a homer and 3 RBIs. There's a strike.
And one thing about Indy Chavez, he's going to give you a good day's work every time you put him out there. Plays real hard. He's a good defensive player, can run. Good addition to his team.
Never had a real good technique for stealing bases, though. For his kind of speed, he should have been a better base stealer.
Well, you can't steal many bases when you're number 4 and 5 outfielders, too.
No, but even when he was playing regular, he's been a good addition for a contending club.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get a chance to play against the right-handers. Nice.
There you go. Pull the string on him. Nice. So both pitchers have retired the first 9 they have seen. August 16th, you can purchase a specially priced lower box ticket and a tasting ticket to access the pregame beer tasting. You can sample different brews and enjoy complimentary snacks and Sox giveaways. So to purchase tickets, visit whitesox.com/specialty. Top of the fourth. We have not had a base runner in this game. Leury struck out his first trip. One out.
Good play by Taylor. He knew exactly what he had to do, making the off-balance throw in respect for the speed of Leury Garcia.
Well, you can't be a good infielder unless you have tremendous recognition to where you can make your own hop many times. That was one of the things about Omar Vizquel. Tremendous recognition. The ball was hit. And a guy who couldn't run a lick, who it just seems like every time the ball was hit, it was hit right at him. And shortstop was Cal Ripken.
Yeah, yes, absolutely. Had great recognition there, and knowing the speed, knowing exactly what he had to do in order to get that guy out at first base.
Yeah. Well, it's like you can't be a good outfielder unless you get a good jump. Mm-hmm. And you can't get a good jump if you're thinking about your hitting. Zunino. So that is the first base runner of this game.
Well, watch this run up. This is what you were preaching, Hawk.
Yep.
Not maybe exactly what he wanted to do. Like a perfect bunt.
So you can cancel the postgame show, and here's Abreu. He struck out. First at bat. Well, it's again, in today's game, you can do that, and you're not going to get hurt or killed. Unless you're playing against the Angels, and Socha will take you out of that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
When Scott Pasednik, who first time he did it was in Toronto, and his first time he tried it was he hit a double down the left field line. And then he became where he would do it maybe once every other game and get a base hit. Then we played the Angels. He did it. Next time he came to the plate, he got drilled.
Put a kibosh to that?
Yeah. So she ended that run up in a hurry.
No surprise there.
No. No, but you can do it today, and it's easy because what you do is your head stays. You own the ball. You're not pulling off the ball. Mm-hmm. Your hands stay back. And to a lesser degree, a guy who hit that way, who was going into 2 Hall of Fames, was Ichiro, who just drifted.
That's true.
That's one reason Ichiro had so many hits every year, because he kept his hands back as well as anybody in baseball.
Yeah. Yeah, he'd get fooled by a pitch, but his hands were still back, so he'd still be able to put it in play and get a chance for a hit and use that great speed he had.
Oh, he just ate him up right there, and that's going to be a double play. So they'll go to the bottom of the 4th. Still scoreless.
Stats. Well, here's a guy that's going to be in a lot of stats. King Felix Hernandez, in his last 15 starts, 8-2 with a 1.42 earned run average, but he has the major league record of 15 consecutive starts with at least 7 innings pitched and 2 runs or less allowed. That's incredible.
In today's game in the American League, it's unbelievable.
Yeah. He's a great one.
Yes, he is. And he's a pitcher now. Well, he's always been a pitcher, even when he was throwing 95, 96, 97 as a kid. But now he is throwing 93, 94 and pitching and changeup. He loves the changeup now.
He's got a great hook, too.
Boy. Well, you don't want a Cy Young Award with 12 wins one year unless they think that you're pretty good.
Yeah, he's special.
Austin Jackson went out. Moises Sierra in right field.
It's King Felix's turn to pitch tomorrow, and the Sox are going to miss him. He will pitch Monday against the Blue Jays.
There you go.
That's the 4th strikeouts for Hector Noesi. Man, the bottom just dropping out on that changeup at a pretty good velocity.
This is the most I've seen him throw his changeup since he's been with us.
I'll tell you what, it is really working. You got to stay with that pitch.
Better believe it.
What a put away pitch it's been for him with 2 strikes.
Ackley popped up to Alexei. Center field. Diazzi took a good route, made a nice play.
Yes, he did. That ball was hit directly over his head. He took the drop step, ran to a spot, and then he looked up when he thought he was going to get when that ball would arrive. And that's a good play by Alejandro Diazzi. Ball was hit hard. Air might be a little heavier tonight, a little cooler.
Yeah, it is. Breeze blowing from left to right. To be moving that big flag at all, it's got to be an issue. Cano went out to left field. He takes a breaking ball strike. Big crowd, nice crowd. Oh, Lou Piniella night here. Gordon's got it.
Oh,
that's right. So that'll be their first base runner on the error, the throwing error by Beckler.
Well, you don't see this very often. He just didn't get a grip on this one, probably. No. Rushing it because he knows the speed of Cano. That one just got away from him. He may have had a little bit more time than he thought. Good pitch, though, by Hector.
Cano, 9 for 11 on stolen bases. He has a stolen base in this series. And if you give it to him, he'll take it. You get that sneaky speed. Well, they struck out on the changeup.
He got one last night, Cano did, and they, you know, this, as you said, Hawk, nobody was expecting it. He just kind of drifted off and it took off, kind of like Luke Rockwood.
One and one to count.
think that Cano's going to be running on one of these next couple of pitches.
Just outside. And if you're just tuning in, Detroit lost, Kansas City won, so the Royals 1.5 games back. Kansas City has won 9 out of the last 10 and 6 in a row. Right at the bottom of the zone. So 2 out, 2-2 the count. There you go. And there's the base hit. So 2 out runners at the corners on their first hit of the ball game.
Take a look. It's a high fastball. Kendrys Morales just goes with the pitch. Very solid job of hitting right there. No chance for anyway. They had a bit of a shift on for him, and Cano's a great base runner. Kind of just glides into third base. The pop-up slide. Anybody messes that one up, he would have scored. So Morales, the runners at the corners, and a very dangerous hitter. Kyle Seager up the plate.
He grounded out to Alexei. Throw to second base off the mark. So the error, as last night it really hurt us. The error jumps up and bites us right here.
Well, it's first pitch. It's a changeup, but it's up and out over the plate. And Seager goes around this one, sees it, pitches up, and he just hooks it into that corner in right field. Fortunately, Kendrys Morales does not run well, so he holds at third. I think that's why this throw went Sierra through to second base anyway. Anybody else, he would have had to bring that ball into the infield at first.
So here's Zunino. Struck out. Boy, it's not who you play, but when you play them. And they're catching us at exactly the right time. We're not hitting, and we're really not playing good defense.
Well, Hector's only made 2 mistakes, and that was to the last 2 hitters. He got a couple pitches up in the zone. But he should have been out of this inning 1-2-3.
That's why errors today are so much more magnified than they were in the past because of pitch counts.
Those last 2 pitches were right at the top of the strike zone. Could have been called strikes.
That was at the bottom of the zone and a full count.
Good changeup. Pitch track shows that it is perfect pitch on the outside corner at the knees.
inside corner, and that'll load them up. So that error has caused now 4 extra hitters. So 3 extra hitters and a lot of extra pitches. And here's Morrison, who went out to center field. Well, the only thing Bobby can say is just give him a little breather right here and say, hey, let's just get this guy. You did your job. Not your fault.
Time now for the AT&T Uverse Multi-View. There you see the runners. Morales is at third, Seager at second, and Zunino at first for the M's. And the hitter is Logan Morrison.
Takes first pitch strike. That one at 95. And the count 0-2.
Almost the same pitch, same location.
Inconsistent with that fastball at 95. That's up high. Here's a chopper. That's fair ball, but the unearned run, and he pitches actually did a good job getting out of it with just the one unearned run. And we're into the 5th. We trail at 1-0. The Cleveland Indians for the green game, powered by Constellation. Now the first 10,000 fans will also receive a reusable White Sox jersey lunch bag courtesy of Constellation. So purchase your tickets today by visiting whitesox.com or calling 866-SOX-GAME. Desiedo, Ramirez, Canerco here in the top of the fifth. 1-2-0 for them. No runs, one hit, and one error. That run for them is unearned. Tank went out to Austin Jackson in center field. That 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Paxton 6'4", 220 pounds. British Columbia. Had a little three hopper. He's fun to watch. He and Beltran.
Makes it look too easy.
Yeah.
Oh, another ground ball. He is just amazing how easy he makes this game look.
Alexei, he grounded out to Seager at third. Takes first pitch strike. And there's a base hit.
Nice job by Alexei pulling those hands in. Little inside out swing. Boom. Jammed just a hair, but he pulled those hands in nicely. Led with that left elbow.
Here's Polly. Hits ball sharply, but Cano made a play on it. Takes that fastball at 96.
Well, he's got good arm.
Yeah, he does.
Does he remind you any of Guidry? Big Guidry? Because, well, Guidry was more of a high fastball pitcher, but he had that good hard slider that this guy seems to feature as well. And I always thought that was the toughest pitch to hit from a lefty to a righty.
No question. That's the one pitch you got to guard against. That slider down and in, wear you out mentally.
Yeah.
Now, Guidry was half the size of Paxton.
Yeah.
He threw harder than Paxton.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
Yeah, he threw 97, 98.
Yeah, he's about 160 pounds.
It's unbelievable how small he was. He and Pedro Martinez both.
Yeah, that's true.
Look like miniature poodles. There he goes.
Wow. Nobody was covering.
So he picks up his 18th stolen base.
That was weird. He got a good jump. Looks up to see if it's put into play, but there's nobody covering the bag, and not a whole lot of Mike Zunino could do with nobody at second.
Now pick him up, Paulie. Let's get this thing tied up. Well, 1978, Guidry was 25-3 in regular season. Counting the playoffs, he was 28-3.
Oh, he was.
That slider of his was a disappearing slider. Steve Kroll, when he won 27 games with the Phillies, had a disappearing slider.
Yeah, great slider.
Yeah, Sparky came up more. Sparky Lyle.
Sparky Lyle. Didn't he teach that to Guidry?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going foul. Our guest is coming into the booth, and we'll be chatting with him. None other than Lou Piniella. It's Lou Piniella Day here, as they inducted him, the 8th player to be inducted into the Mariner Hall of Fame. And of all the years I've known Lewis, first time I've ever seen him cry.
Well, you haven't seen some of the arguments with my wife.
47 years.
47 years. I've cried a couple times.
Did you ever win any of those arguments, Luke?
Do you ever?
No.
3 balls, 2 strikes to Konerko. Yeah, that was wonderful. You did a good job with your speech, buddy. That was we were all watching up here, and there's a base hit. Actually didn't see it real quick, didn't pick it up, but he wasn't going to score anyway. So we have runners at the corners. Well, Louis, first of all, what have you been doing? You've been doing a lot of fishing.
I've been playing golf. My handicap's getting a little better. I'm down to about an 11.
Are you still throwing clubs?
No, I don't throw clubs anymore. And I'm playing the white tees now. Come on.
Louis and I are playing with Gene Michael one day. We spent 45 minutes trying to get one of his clubs out of this tree.
Oh boy, no. That's when I was young and foolish. I do that, and I do a lot of fishing. You're right. I love to fish. I really do. Now the amazing thing.
Gotta hurry. And they get it. They turn over. Just to get him. So we threaten, can't score. We're halfway home. We trail it 1-0. We're still here. So Robin is going to go out. Talk with Marvin Hudson. I thought real time from up here, I thought they had him. But we'll see. Meanwhile, we will be back. Set for the bottom of the 5th inning. A run on 2 hits, no errors for them. No runs, 3 hits, 1 error for us. And Lou, we were just talking in the break right there. There's a little chopper 2 hopper for 1 pitch, 1 out. It's not who you play, but when you play them.
I agree. If you're playing well, you can win games against any team. And when you're struggling, it becomes a chore to win a baseball game. And it's not easy, this sport. You're playing a 162 game schedule. There's a lot of travel involved. You know, the teams are so competitive now.
Yeah, parity is there.
Parity is there. We were talking earlier in my speech about the 116 win season that we had here in Seattle one year. I don't think that'll ever be done again.
No,
Mark.
I don't either. I don't either.
Unbelievable. I mean, and the parity today. I mean, I watch baseball. I've got time from since I'm retired, and I watch quite a few of the teams play. And what I've noticed is that a lot of teams have trouble scoring runs. I know that the pitching is good.
Did he make the catch?
I don't think so.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. He did. He hung on to it, so he hits the fence. Nice play by Viciedo for out number 2. Nice play, Tank. Yeah, but but you're right. The parity is there, and when Bud Selig came in, there were only 4 teams making money. Now there's 30 making money.
Well, I think that's why there's so much parity.
Ain't no question. They've
all got money to spend. Exactly right. It's good for baseball, but at the same time, tell me, what team's going to win the World Series this year? I don't think there's a clear-cut favorite in either league.
No, there's not. No, just look at the Cardinals. You know what they did in 2012. And then look at the Red Sox. 2012 they finished last. 2013 they won the World Series. 2014 they're going to finish last. That's never been done. Never
been done. It really hasn't. But I'll tell you, I enjoy watching games. I watch it from a fan standpoint. I don't get too competitive at all.
Now you can go to hell for lying like you can for stealing.
Well,
hold on, stay another half inning.
All right, thanks.
Unknown, and well, soon I think his next induction will be at Cooperstown.
Thank you.
And I was going to go this year, of course, but something came up. I couldn't go. I had to go to Orlando to see the Big Hurt and Tony inducted. But when you get inducted, buddy, I'm going to be there.
Well, Hawk, we'll see what happens. I'm hoping, but we'll see. Look, I think the qualifications are there, but at the same time, we'll see what happens with it. Yeah. I'll tell you this. I really enjoyed talking about Chicago my 4 years there. I was on the NAR side.
Boy, you got a lot of friends there.
Yeah, a lot of friends is right. What a wonderful, wonderful city. I'll tell you, that drive down Lakeshore Drive to get to the ballpark, and the Cub fans. Here I am talking on White Sox Network talking about the Cub fans. What an experience! Sure. Really, what an experience! It was a great experience. And Chicago, great town. Just a great town.
Well, you really have had a great experience there where you managed in New York. Of course, you won a world championship in Cincinnati, and here you had 10 great years here. And I thought Wimpy mentioned it too about Ichiro, I think his comments really hit it right on the head when they were putting up on the scoreboard out there. Because the manager here, in my opinion, the manager here has to have something special to be successful because of all the travel. I mean, the travel out here is probably worse than in all the sports in the world.
Very difficult.
And you have to keep your guys. It's a job to keep them going because a lot of your off days you're traveling.
You're traveling. You know, when you start really feeling it in September and in postseason, you're making trips constantly back and forth across the country, and it really gets to you. It gets to you. And but I'll tell you what, I had some pretty good talent over here, and you know what? I had 2 darn good general managers. Pat Gillick's in the Hall of Fame, so that speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And then I had Woody. To be successful at the managing position, certainly your general manager's got to know talent, know how to put a team together.
Well, sometimes, yeah, but on the other side of that page, Lou, not to take anything away from them at all, but sometimes those are the toughest clubs to manage, as you well know, because they're expected to perform. But now, Wimpy, I'll tell you a cute story. In the playoffs, 2000, they come in and play us. Okay, first game. It's late in the ball game, and Keith Falk is pitching for us.
Good pitcher.
Mike Cameron gets on first base. Edgar Martinez is at the plate. First pitch, Mike doesn't run, so Lou comes out of the dugout with that little slow walk with his hands in his hips. He goes right by Johnny Moses, the coach at first. Says something to Mike Cameron. Well, Eris and I were watching the game in Orlando, and she said, "Honey, what's he telling Cameron?" I said, "I got no idea." So he turns around and goes back. Well, the next pitch is a pitch out. Now the count to Edgar is 2-0. Uh-oh. So you know what happens on the 2-0 pitch? He hit out of this. So I called Gabe Morrell after the game. I said, "There's a base hit by Beck." I called Gabe. I said, "Have Lou call me. I got to find out something." He said, "Okay." So Lou called me after the game. I said, "What the hell did you tell Cameron out there?" He said, "Well, I went out and he said, I told him the Dow is up and the NASDAQ is down." I said, "You son of a gun. You wanted to pitch out, didn't you?" He said, "Well, it's the playoffs. You're going to pull out all the stops."
You know what we had noticed? This is true now. We had watched a lot of film of the White Sox, especially the last couple games or last couple games of the season. And we noticed that when the White Sox pitched out, the catcher sat on the inside corner. When the catcher sat middle of the plate or middle of the plate away, he pitched to the hitter. And Matt Cameron was in a running situation. There's no question. Yeah. So I told him, remember, I tried to get Moses' attention, but the crowd was nice and noisy. So I couldn't. I said, hell, let me go out there and tell the runner myself. So after the game, I told Mike, I said, look, if the catcher's sitting inside, don't run because they're liable to pitch out. And that's exactly what they did. And then the media asked me after the ball game. I said, I told them to buy some Cisco stock. It was down.
Lou, what about managing in today's environment? Well, what about the rules now? You can't argue with the umpires anymore.
I don't like it. I really don't.
I don't either.
Look, when I managed for Mr. Steinbrenner in New York, he told me 3 things. First of all, he says, your main job is to win. Get me a World Series. Your second job is to help put fannies in the seats as a manager. So he says, get creative when you get kicked out of ball games. I'll pay your fines, but you have some fun with the umpires. You know, I think truthfully that the fans enjoy that. I think they get cheated a little bit out of that.
They love it.
You know, this game is a sport. It's a business, but it's entertainment also. You agree, Hawk?
Oh, yeah. Well, look, a good example was just, what was the biggest ovation when they were showing the highlights of you?
When I kicked a little dirt?
That's kicking the dirt and pulling bases out and throwing them out. Fans went crazy again.
Is there a famous episode, one famous one that you reminded of most?
No. You know
out?
what's amazing, truthfully, and I've said this many times, and it's true. When I see some of that on ESPN or on any network, I get a little embarrassed. What the heck did I have to do something like that for, you know? But I'll tell you this, I never held any grudges against any umpires.
No, you didn't.
No, I mean, I had a good relationship with them. At times, I'd go into the umpire's room the next day, and I'd say, look, go have some dinner over at a restaurant. Enjoy it. I'm sorry for the ruckus, fellas. And you know, some of these guys enjoyed a little argument too. I can name a few of them. When you go out there and you wanted to rumble a little bit, they wanted to rumble with you too.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the umpire's the umpire. You got a good relationship with those guys.
Yeah, you know, look, whether you're a player, whether you're a manager, whatever, umpire, you're going to make mistakes. It's a human game, and you're going to make mistakes. So you might get bad calls one night, you get calls the next night, you're away.
Did you ever get kicked out intentionally because you wanted to motivate your team?
Yeah, no question. I've done that. I did that many times.
Where do you rank in? You know, I know Bobby Cox.
Oh,
leads
Bobby
the world.
Cox,
Yeah.
believe me, he's doubled me or more. Yeah. But I'm probably, I don't know. Weaver's got me beat too, and so does Martin. Lasorda, you know, well, Lasorda, yeah. I mean, but I don't know where I rank. I got kicked out 60 sometimes, but that's playing and managing. Over a 40-year period, that's not bad. That's good.
Well, the first game I ever saw Louis play with Kansas City, the guy called him out on a bad pitch, and he took his helmet off and he threw it straight up in the air. He's a rookie now. The umpire told him, he said, son, if that helmet comes down, you're behind us, out of here.
Right.
Lou, thanks for stopping by. Kiss Anita
nice
for
seeing
us,
you.
okay?
Thank you so much.
I'll talk to you a little bit.
All right, bye.
All right.
Thank you, Whippy.
Field that are looking to make a run at the wild card. Tune in as Jose Abreu and the White Sox have other plans for Toronto. White Sox Blue Jays Friday at 7 on Comcast Sportsnet.
1-2-0 for them, 0-4 and a big one. For us, that was the era that caused the unearned run. But Ackley will lead it off. Well, great day for Lou and his family, you know, and Lou is such a wonderful person. I've known him for so long, and I was just telling you, you know, all the hundreds of times we've had dinner, I've never had a bad time. He is one of the funniest, has one of the best sense of humors, and he's just so honest. Well, candid.
Yeah, and you know what he has too, Huck? He's got high energy. I mean, he's just a high energy guy. You just love to be around him.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, one of the great attributes that he had, along with his leadership qualities, to really help his players out.
I'll tell you a guy that Lou really, he didn't know him that well, but in the few times that we had dinner together, he just absolutely adored was Reinsdorf. He just he thought the world of Jerry, and still does. Here's Cano. He's 0 for 2. Reached on that error and came around to score the only run in this ball game. into left center field. Yeah, so that is out number 1. Yeah, one of these days, I get people every year asking me to do a book, another one, and one of these days I'm going to do a book, and when I do, he will have a whole chapter in there.
You should. He deserves it.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it makes no sense for Lou not to be in the Hall of Fame because
he's going to be there.
You know, he's the 14th winningest manager in Major League history,
Yeah,
and then he had a tremendous career as a player too.
Yeah, he will be there. There's Morales. He is struck out, and he picked up their first base hit. He just shoved a little single in the left field.
Lou is a great student of hitting too.
Well, he knows.
Really hit.
I'll tell you, there's a couple of guys, in my opinion, that in all the years I've been in this game. Do you want to talk hitting? You can talk with Lou, and you can talk with Cito Gaston.
Good call. I was a teammate of Cito's, yeah.
Cito has a great understanding of hitting. Charlie's not here. Charlie's gone. God rest his soul. But those two guys know just about as much about it as anybody.
Well, Cito became an excellent manager too.
Terrific manager.
And
2 world championships.
And a great hitting coach. He was responsible for those tremendous Toronto offenses. Well, he was the hitting coach, and then he became manager and very successful at that too.
1-1 to count with 1 down here in the bottom of the 6th, third of this 4-game set. Finale tomorrow. Johnny Dank's on the bump for us. And that game will be over WGN. There he goes. Hit and run was on, and that is a souvenir left side. And after the game tomorrow, we board our charter going down to San Francisco, off day on Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday against the Giants. Tuesday a night game and Wednesday a day game. And then we come home, and we were just talking about the vaunted Baltimore Orioles. We come home with 3 with Toronto and 3 with Baltimore.
They're really hot right now. You know what I think is great, Hart, that they packed this stadium too for Lou today. I know the Mariners aren't drawing tremendously well. What is it, 28,000 a average? So
24,361 coming into yesterday. Well, Lou was very instrumental in helping build this ballpark.
Come right, he was.
And there's a
hit foul.
It will. Oh. That was almost like his first hit.
Look at him. He's laughing now coming back. Boy, there was no chance right there.
Yeah, Lou resurrected the Mariners to the fans. But he did have some good players. But sometimes, as I mentioned, sometimes those are the toughest guys to manage.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Edgar Martinez, of course, and Ken Griffey Jr. And of course, he had the young Alex Rodriguez. Randy Johnson. He had good players. You still got to manage him. And as Ichiro said, he really had an impact on me, what he was saying. That,
yeah,
you got to be a leader. You got to lead men. And Lou has certainly epitomized that here in Seattle. It's funny too how a layback city like Seattle can embrace, an emotional guy like Lou. It was a perfect fit too.
Yeah. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Now there's his numbers. Most wins and best winning percentage in franchise history, 542. 116 wins, and I think he was right, don't you think, Hawk? Nobody's going to win 116 games anymore.
No. Not with all the balance and the parity. There he goes. That's just muscled out into right field. Moises is there. Good pitch by Hector. So 2 out, and that'll bring up Seager. Seager in the second grounded out to short, and then in the fourth hit a double down in the right field corner. Drove in Cano, who had reached on an error. And if you miss it after the pitch, we'll show it to you.
And here's our Xfinity high-speed action replay. Well, he got one out over the plate. It was that changeup, but it was up just a hair. He's only made a couple bad pitches today. Hector has really been dealing. Great movement on all of his stuff.
There you go. Yeah, he gone. So Lloyd McClendon is going to come out. And we'll see. We'll just stay right here to see. Talking to some Mariner players after the game last night. They just love this guy. They love Lloyd McClendon.
Well, we've known him for a long time. He's managed in Pittsburgh. And let's see the replay. Sure, he's out. That is a lot closer than I thought it was.
So Lloyd is going to say, okay, and that'll retire the side. So we're into the 7th. We trail it 1-0. Take on Toronto with 7:10 at Country Star. Easton Corbin will perform live on the field pregame, and all fans are invited to stay for a postgame fireworks show presented by Pepsi. So purchase tickets today by visiting whitesox.com/country or calling 866-SOX-GAME. I'll tell you a cute story about Lou. They were running with the Angels for the division. And he needed a left-handed hitter. I forget exactly the year is. Here is Abreu. He's 0 for 2. He's struck out in the double play. And that's a fair ball down into the corner. You got to go. You've got to go. He's safe. Oh. Good slide, a fadeaway. So the leadoff double.
Well, you talk about muscling a baseball. This guy had almost got back to the catcher's mitt before he decided to pull the trigger. Jose Abreu is some kind of strong. The pitch is kind of middle of the plate or out, actually. And watch how deep that ball gets. And he just pushes it out. You got to run from the get-go, and that almost cost him.
He's now hitting 27 out of the last 28. But Lou needed a third baseman and a left-handed hitter. And we were having dinner one night. They were playing us. Chicago. I said, look, you got a young kid over there. And I said, we got a guy that's on last year of his contract here. Why don't we make a deal? You know, we're just talking.
Okay.
I said, how do you like Robin Ventura? He said, I love Robin. I said, well, why don't you trade us that young shortstop you got for Robin? It was Alex Rodriguez.
Okay.
Lou said, if I do that, they will string me up out there in Seattle. Is that ball hit in right field? So Jose is tagging. Andy Chavez with the throw.
Wow.
Safe.
Woo. Right on the money. So Viciato gets the job done. And Chavez got around this ball pretty darn good. That one little step may have cost him, though, all the way to third. Bang, bang. They're going to play the infield in for Alexi.
Alexi's 1 for 2. Checks it up and takes ball 1. That's a big pitch. Always in this sequence, in this situation, a big pitch.
Yeah, you want to get the first strike. Because you don't want to get deep in the count in this situation. You want to be able to maneuver. There's that slider again. The converted starter Mauer is warming up for the Mariners in the bullpen. He can bring it.
Brandon Mauer. Stay fair. It will, and this game is tied at 1. So Alexi now on his way to second base. That's his 24th double and his 58th RBI.
He hooks this pitch. It's amazing how strong he is. It's an 87-mile-an-hour look. Appeared to be a changeup because there was no movement, a hanger, if you will. And he just gets around that ball and hits it hard, though, down into that left field corner. He's got strong hands. He's got that wiry strength.
Yep. All right, so James Paxton, who pitched well, he was impressive. He departs and we'll be back. Hub, where you can earn 2% back in fan rewards on every purchase, including White Sox tickets. So plus, all-in pricing. There are no surprise fees at checkout. So StubHub, your tickets, upgrades, and more.
Here's Brandon Mauer, the new pitcher for the Mariners. Tell you what, this big guy, you don't want to look at his total numbers. They are not impressive, but as a reliever, he is 0-0 with a 0.47 earned run average, 1 earned run in 19 1/3 innings pitched, 14 games in relief, averaging 10.7 strikeouts as a reliever. He's one of those guys, Hawk, that just can't start. You know, they say 25 pitches now. It's a different story.
Here's Paulie. Paulie 1 for 2. We saw Mauer in game 1 for an inning in the third. We got nothing.
No. Yeah, he was the starter at the beginning of the year and wasn't able to do it. He was 1-4 with a 7.5 ERA.
Nice pick by Zunino. 40,122 on Lupinella Day here at Safeco Field.
Well, they couldn't have had a better weekend for this affair, too. The weather is just perfect. A nasty slider right there. Paulie couldn't catch up.
One and two the count. Check. Try by Mauer.
Well, every pitch he's thrown has been below the strike zone. Our pitch tracks will affirm that. Well, that's a good take right there.
And that fastball at 97 popped up right side.
And look at the bullpen ERAs, the best in baseball. Padres second. That's a little bit of a surprise. Giants are good, Oakland and the Washington Nationals. But Seattle, 2.35. Best in baseball. We saw that Medina last night. He is wicked.
Tyler takes down low.
Yep.
Retire the side, but the double by Abreu, the double by Ramirez. 7th inning stretch, tied at 1. It's a 1-1 tie here in the bottom of the seventh. And look at this.
That guy cannot get any cuter.
No.
Let's see what he's got. Oh.
Look. For the Mariners, it'll be Seager, Zunino, and Morrison. Hector Noesi has really pitched his behind off. Giving up 1 run, it was unearned. On just 3 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. Seager 1 for 2, that RBI double.
Well, he's been consistent 93 to 95 with that heater. Tough to get to that. When you combine that with that good changeup, a lot of late movement.
Out in front of that change. This, without question, is the best changeup he's had since he's been in the White Sox uniform.
Well, of all the games that I've seen him pitch, this is by far the best stuff I've seen him have.
Well, that changeup's going to absolutely set everything up for him.
Yeah.
Fastball. Occasional breaking ball. He's only thrown a few breaking balls in this game. Been fastball change for the most part. And that fastball at 94.
Well, I think Tyler Flowers has done a good job at recognizing what is really working for Hector tonight and calling those pitches, making him throw that changeup more than usual.
That's what great Gabby Hartnett always said. The first responsibility of a catcher is to get his pitcher in a rhythm and keep him there. Get him there as soon as you can and keep him there. Second responsibility is, if you can, make his second best pitch an out pitch. And tonight, Tyler's kept him in a nice rhythm and used that changeup for the most part as an out pitch. Outfield straight up, spread out. And that's popped up. Here, a little snow cone. And that is out number 1. Sox fans, check out the Xfinity Fundamentals deck overlooking left field at US Cellular Field. Now it's accessible from the 100, the 300, and the 500 levels. Young Sox fans can learn baseball fundamentals from White Sox Training Academy coaches. Space features batting and pitching cages, base running areas, and baseball skill instruction. And it's all from Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Zunino has struck out and he has walked. That's the only walk issued by Noesi.
There's that late movement right there. The location of the pitch wasn't so good. But Zunino pulled off of that pitch, I think, mainly because of the late movement of that changeup.
One and two. Just joining us, they had an unearned run in the 4th. We scored ours in the top half of this frame. A couple of doubles by Abreu and Alexei. That is a 1-out single for Zunino.
Well, Zunino got a fastball right down the middle, 94 miles an hour. Stayed on it nicely. See, finished. This guy's got a chance to be something, doesn't he, Hawk? He's got a chance to be a pretty good offensive player.
Yeah, he's got a chance to be a real good player behind the plate and with the lumber. Morrison has gone out to center and grounded out to Paulie. All right, take your time. You got plenty of them. Back him up. And that'll retire the side. We're into the 8th, tied at 1.
The game. Tweet your photo to #ChicagoFanPhoto for a chance to be shown on our broadcast. Brought to you by AT&T.
Moises Sierra. Gordon Beckham. Then back to the top of the order to face Brandon Maurer. There's a bunt. And that's going to be a base hit. So good speed aboard.
How did he do that? That was a 94-mile-an-hour fastball up and in. And he deadened it perfectly down the third baseline. This is really hard to do right here. He got the hit of the bat out, and that ball was either going to be a base hit or it's going to be foul. Thank goodness it didn't have too much hang time. Boy, he can run. Got there in a hurry.
I'm telling you, he's just a bundle of talent. He can catch it. He can certainly throw it. He can run. He's got big power, and he's going to be a good hitter. Another play. I love the bunt.
You do.
Yeah.
Nice job by Gordon. Boy, he caught that one. There's a great example of how it's supposed to be done. Get the bat at the top of the strike zone, get it out front, and just catch it.
Well, we talked about it last night, how the bunt is coming back. It's got to, because you're facing in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings, you're just facing too good of pitching, too good of arms out there, too good of stuff. And when you get a man on, you've got to be able to get him over. Where you lose a lot of games in the major leagues today is in the 7th, 8th, and 9th inning when you get in a close ball game, you get a man on first, and you hit into a double play.
Yeah, exactly. That was a great job by Gordon against a tough fastball as Rick Waits comes out to talk with Maurer.
Gillespie out to hit for Leury.
Yeah, Leury was 0 for 3, a couple of strikeouts. And I think Robin realized too that left-handed, he was going to swing. He was going to get nothing but high fastballs, and he's having a tough time catching up to that right now. Of course, he shortens that swing a little bit. Might be a different story in the future.
There are the numbers on Gillespie. And he looks at ball one. High and very wide.
Those are good numbers. 3 for 4 as a pinch hitter with a homer and 3 RBIs. I remember the one he hit in Boston.
Right around Pesky's pole.
Yep. Got a boy.
And he's got the catbird seat. 2-0. Diaz on deck.
Let him hit here.
Yeah, you're right.
Yep. First base is open. Turn him loose.
Taking all the way. 3-1. Full count.
Charlie Furbush, who did a nice job last night for the Mariners warming up.
That's the best I've seen him throw.
Yeah.
Since he's been here or when he was in that Tiger uniform.
Big pitch. Boy, he dialed it. He ratcheted it up a little bit there at 96. Challenging him on the outside corner. Bang.
So it's up to Alejandro. He picked up our first hit. Little run up. Swinging butt single in the 4th inning. Changeup.
Well, this guy's got 3 pretty good pitches. He throws that fastball about 96. We saw some good sliders to Konerko last inning, and that changeup pretty effective against the lefty.
To the count. And that's foul. One time on the 0-2. That one at 98. it sharply, but to the wrong man. So we have a chance. We get the leadoff man aboard, get him to second, can't do anything with it, and we're still tied at 1. All right, Jen, thank you very much. As first pitch strike to Chris Taylor, who has popped to second, grounded to third. 1-7-1 for us, 1-4-0 for them. Oh, and 2. Base hit. So leadoff man aboard. When you're hot, you're hot. And Chris Taylor's been hot.
He's hot, and Gillespie was guarding the line too, Hawk, and that was another reason why that ball was able to find that hole, just perfectly placed. So now Endy Chavez's job is to get him over to second base. Bunt in order here.
And he has struck out and fouled out on a terrific catch by Viciato.
Jabbed at that one.
Yeah, well, he had a sacrifice bunt in game 1. In that inning, they scored 3 in. And he jabbed at that one too, but put it down nicely.
Does not have a stolen base in the major leagues.
Austin Jackson on deck. That's up high.
There's Javi Guerra warming up in the Sox bullpen. Got it done again.
Sacrifice 1-4.
Gets the hit of the bat out front this time. Yeah, the perfect. Just enough. No chance at second base, so Austin Jackson's going to get a chance here to drive in the potential lead run. Here comes Robin.
Here comes Robin. Out of that dugout with that slow walk. Well, what a game No SC has pitched. And that's going to be all for him as Robin has made the call. What a nice game against his former mates. No SC will depart, giving up that one run. It was unearned. 5 hits, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, and we'll be back. MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. You get live look-ins, you get instant replay, you get scores, stats, audio, free MLB.TV game of the day, and more. So download on the App Store or visit WhiteSox.com.
And a pitching change coming up for the White Sox here. 1 out in the 8th inning. Javi Guerra coming on for the 28th time, a 1-3 record with a 3.34 earned run average. 28 strikeouts in 29 2/3. So he's got Austin Jackson, the batter, with Ackley on deck.
And a pitch up high, that is 90. Finale tomorrow afternoon. Make your plans to be with us. That game will be over WGN. Johnny Danks against to be announced, and that is a 3:10 start. Count evens of 1.
One thing that Austin Jackson has done better this year is keep that front side closed and is able to hit a lot more balls to the right side of second base. striking out less than he had in that Tiger uniform.
Curveball way high.
Oh boy. Hey, there's Rodney and Medina. We saw him last night. We saw both of them last night. They're both good.
If they score, of course, it'll be Rodney. If they don't, it'll be Medina. That's the count, 2-2.
Great pitch right there. Slider. Location was very good. Late movement, too. No chance for Jackson on that one.
He gone. 2 down.
Another good pitch, a slider right on the outside corner, and he pulled off of it again. So the plan was to pitch him away. They did it, and they got the strikeout.
Here's Ackley. He's 1 for 3. 3 for 10 in the series with a homer and 4 RBIs as he takes first pitch strike. That one at 95. Ackley has faced Ivy one time. He's 0 for 1. And the count of 1-2 with Cano on deck. Yes, he did.
Sure.
He gone. We're into the 9th. We're tied at 1.
On CSN for White Sox Postgame Live, presented by Subaru. Get the recap on tonight's game and all the action around the league. Don't miss White Sox Postgame Live tonight, right after the game on Comcast Sportsnet. We've got a new pitcher, and he is a hard thrower. Yorvis Medina, we saw him last night. He was excellent in 1 inning. 4-2 record, a 2.29 earned run average. 38 strikeouts in 39 1/3. He's got a real good fastball. We saw that hard breaking ball that he featured to Alexi Ramirez last night. So maybe Alexi can get him here. He's third up in the order, and the Sox got their boppers coming up here. It's going to be Jose Abreu, Viciedo, and Ramirez, the first three hitters here in the top of the ninth.
We got ours coming up. This is the way Abner designed it.
Yep.
And them in the bottom of the ninth, they got theirs coming up. Abreu led off the seventh with the double and came around to score on Alexi's double. Breaking ball strike.
He's got late movement on that breaking ball. That was, you could almost call that a hanger, but you can't.
Well, all high curveballs are not hangers.
Huh?
Some of them still dig. No, and the count 0-2. His name was Sandy Koufax.
Yeah, he was good.
He threw me one. I had two strikes on me. He threw me one that started off letter high and ended up at my knees.
Yeah,
and I could hear him.
Not much fun. Well, Abreu is not afraid to get jammed, and that's why he's so tough with two strikes on him.
A solid single. Well, Wimpy, you put it perfectly. There's an old saying, show me the hitter that can't be jammed and I'll show you a bad hitter.
Mm-hmm.
Show me a hitter that's not afraid to be jammed and I'll show you a good hitter.
Yeah, he got jammed really bad earlier in the game by the left-hander, but watch right here. Here's the third breaking ball. He kind of froze him on the first two, but this time he stayed right in there and ripped it in the left field. Great swing, great contact by a great hitter.
Tank 0 for 3, but last time I've got the job done after that leadoff double by Abreu. Hit a fly ball deep into right field. And there's Indy Chavez on that one. So out number one.
And just like we promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. RBI double by Alexi. Got a changeup or an off-speed pitch up and out over the plate and kind of hooked it into the corner in left field. That is our Miller moment. Okay, here's the rematch.
Yeah, Alexi had a tough at bat against him last night.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, he's faced him 4 times and he's 0 for 4.
He's due.
So we go to the bottom of the ninth. It'll be Cano, Morales, and Seager, and this game tied at 1. trying to rev up and ramp up the action and the noise here at Safeco. Bottom of the ninth inning, a 1-1 tie, and they get the iron, the heart of their order coming up in Cano, Morales and Seager.
Yeah, Robertson Cano is 0 for 3 on the game, although he did score a run after being safe on an error in the 4th inning. The only run given up by Hector Noesi, who was brilliant this evening.
Yep. He's just about as dominant as he's been since he's been in a White Sox uniform.
Yep.
So here we go. Want to know the count. You know, one of those guys not afraid to take 1 or 2 strikes.
And then he'll have the occasional ambush you on that first pitch fastball. Good one right there at the bottom part of the strike zone.
Yeah, it's been a well umpired series. Even though we lost the first 2. And Mike DeMuro doing a good job tonight. So Ivy on top, 1-2. balls, 2 strikes. Double-barreled activity, Sir Kemp and Belisari. Look at the pitch, the peg, the play! Oh, yes!
Goodness, you're going to see this many times. Lord have mercy. Well, that's as good as it gets. Lexi Ramirez was playing him the pull, and look at all in one motion. From shallow left field, a one-hopper, nice pick by Paulie. But goodness gracious, I didn't think he had a prayer.
What a year he is having.
Oh.
What a year Alexei is having.
Spectacular.
So here's Morales. Chops it foul. Kendrick had a base hit in the 4th inning, just shoved the single into right field. 1 for 3. Shows another one. That's fair ball.
Gracious. Lord have mercy. There's got to be a pinch runner here.
You'd think.
Boy. He did everything wrong on this swing, and he winds up with a base hit. Looking left, thinking centered, and kind of shanking it down the 3rd baseline. Wow.
So Denorfia, Chris Denorfia will be the pinch runner. So Guerra will depart on that little shank by Morales. Surkamp will come on to face Kyle Seager, and we'll be back.
Eric Surkamp is the new pitcher. And he is going to be he's going to face Kyle Seager. Tough left-handed hitter. He does not bail on lefties. So situation with a runner at first base. And it is the bottom of the 9th inning. So Seager's trying to be the hero, and Eric Surkamp's going to try and hold him right there. Trying to get this thing into extra innings.
So Surkamp on for just the one hitter. Zunino on deck, and then something happens. He might stay, according to what happens here, to face Morrison or a pinch hitter. And then in that case, they'll go get Bella. Seager 1 for 3, that RBI double back in the 4th. Takes ball 1. Northie had a good lead.
Northie is 8 for 9 in stolen bases.
There was a strike. 1-1. Outfielder deep. No double set. Gap out there in both gaps. Right to the bag. Steps on it. Whack him up. So that'll retire the side. We're in extra innings. Tied at 1. Jerky all season long. Jack Link's beef jerky. Feed your wild side.
Oh, because oh yeah. We are back. We're in extra innings here at Safeco Field in Seattle, and none of this crowd of 40,122 has left on Lou Piniella night for the Mariners. Now the Sox dodged a bullet in the bottom of the 9th inning, but now they've got to face the closer. And his name is Rodney, with a lot of respect. 1-3. 1-4 with a 2.31 earned run average. He has converted 32 of 35 save opportunities. Of course, this is not one, but he can definitely punch you out. 51 and 46 and 2/3. Just 38 hits allowed. The league is batting just 226 against him. He's a good one. He got an outstanding fastball. He will throw a slider, but that changeup makes him doubly tough. And now with Logan Morrison at first base. Logan was the DH, and Rodney will be hitting fourth. Cleanup, as it will.
So for us, it'll be Konerko, Flowers, and Sierra, the scheduled hitters. Only run for them is unearned. That was back in the 4th inning. We get ours in the 7th. Doubles by Abreu and Alexei.
Well, we have seen some really good pitching tonight.
Paulie 1 for 3. And he has faced Rodney 19 times, has 6 hits.
Huh?
There's that changeup.
Well, 2-0, pick and choose time.
That one at 93 for a strike. Taking some scores for you. Cleveland shuts out the Yankees 3-0. Corey Kluber 13-6 with a 2.46. The winner. Troy blows another game. And that's hammered down past Joe McEwing. Joe Nathan gave up a run in the 9th for Toronto to tie it, and Chamberlain, Java Chamberlain, gave up one in the 10th. As Blue Jays came back and beat them 3-2. Kansas City shuts out the Giants 5-0. Big game. James Shields over Tim Hudson. After 7 in Oakland, 9-2 Athletics leading Minnesota. One out.
Got him on a changeup. Good arm action. Looks like a fastball out of his hand, and just kind of gets Paulie out in front. Right on the outside corner, but it was up.
And this is our 8th extra inning game. In the first 7, we're 2-5. We have played 3 on the road, and we have won 1, as there's a base hit into left field by Tyler. Jordan Danks, I believe, is coming out to hit for Moises Sierra. Sierra was 1 for 3. Jordan just called up.
Adam Eaton was placed on the disabled list today. Hopefully it won't be for too long, but it's got all the earmarks of the dreaded oblique. So hopefully Adam recovers quickly. It all stemmed from that collision on Wednesday at the ballpark at the U.S. Cellular Field when he went into the wall, went to that post violently. So here's Jordan. He was playing well at Charlotte. Deserves a chance, and here he goes.
And he's been swinging the bat well lately. Charlotte. There his numbers, 276, 16 homers and 56 knocked in. One out, Flowers at first. And there's the changeup.
Bats this year with the Sox.
And nice pick. They get to lead man. 2 down.
That was a gutsy play by Logan Morrison. It's going to be a close play at second, but he made it perfectly. Got rid of it in a hurry.
Well, that's one reason you always, if possible, want a left-handed.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. A lot easier for the lefty to make that play.
So here's Beckham. He's 1 for 2 with a sacrifice bunt. Sox trying to break a 4-game losing streak. The Mariners trying to extend a 4-game winning streak. Knock him in. Playing for the most part in the outfield straight up, spaced about equidistant. There he goes. That's a Lance Johnson jump right there.
Yeah. Oh, he got a good one. No way. Look at that. Nice job by Jordan reading him. He got them all timed up, so hitters count now for Gordon Beckham, 2-0. Good speed.
The outfield shortens up. 3-0 with Gillespie on deck.
Hit a gapper right here.
Hitting. Ball gets by, and they're going to get back in there. So that'll be an error on Chris Taylor.
Yeah. Well, he surrounds it and looked like his body got in front of that ball a little bit more than he wanted to. Gordon swinging on 3-0. The charge, and Danks was coming by him. I don't know if that distracted him at all. But then Jordan has got to get back. That was good hustle right there, getting back, because I've seen a lot of guys round third base and get caught on that very play. So runners at the corners, 2 outs for Gillespie.
He's been in the play one time, and he struck out. Takes that change up for a strike. He's faced lightning twice. He's 0 for 2. There's a shot, base hit. So Jordan's going to score, And the Sox lead it 2-1 with Beckham in the third. Don't stop now, boys.
It was another changeup. The first one was inside. This one was on the outside corner, but it is up. And Gillespie kept his hands back nicely, created some hang time, and just ripped that ball into right field. Nice job. Connor hitting over 300 with runners in scoring position. That's a happy camper at first base, Hawkeroo.
He should be.
That come right.
So here's Piazza. Alejandro had an infield single. He's 1 for 4.
I think Connor should have posed the Rodney. He should have done the Rodney, at first base with the arrow.
Trichka. Rodney has 3 wild pitches. How about a 4th?
I would love to see Brady hit this thing.
Pokes that one into the seats for a souvenir. Big stolen base by Jordan Danks.
That was large.
That ball hit in the center field right at him, almost in his tracks. But we come up, we get a break, take advantage of it, come up with an unearned run. We'll go to the bottom of the 10th, leading 2-1.
$1,122, and all of them are still here as Jake Petritzka comes in to try and finish this thing off here in the 10th inning. Jake 0-2, a 2.50 earned run average, 7 for 9 in saves. In 57 innings, he's given up only 45 hits. The opponent's batting .222 against the hard-throwing right-hander. And Viziedo, Tank moves over to right field. Jordan Danks, Hawk pointed out that big stolen base last inning, and Diazza is in left field. And the hitters in this inning, hopefully there'll be just 3. Zunino, Morrison, and Taylor for the M's.
Zunino 1 for 2, a strikeout, a walk, and a single. It's going away, ball 1.
Good fastball right at the knees.
1-1. Not too much. Not too fine. Not too fine. 2-1.
Tried to tie it up.
Yeah, Zunino with a good pass at that.
High fastball, 96 by Jake.
You made no mistake about it. Zunino can take you out anywhere.
That's right. He showed us that last night. 3-run homer to right field. He's got big power in all directions.
Ball hit deep into right center field. But we got a man in there. Woo, Tanks.
First baseman Logan Morrison.
He hit it pretty good.
Boy, for a second I saw a collision coming up.
Yeah.
Jordan was really hauling one over there.
Yeah. Tank calling him off though. Yeah, Jordan. Right there, right at the 380 mark. Zunino. He almost got that one out of here.
So here's Logan Morrison. He's 0 for 3. 6 home runs this year. Takes ball 1. Two runs, 10 hits, 1 error. For us, 1 run, 6 hits, and 1 error. And each one of those errors has figured prominently in this ball game. Base hit right back through the middle.
That was a 96-mile-an-hour fastball. When you throw it right down the middle, that's what can happen. Logan Morrison looking pretty good right there as he ripped it right back at Jake Trischka. So here's Chris Taylor.
He's 1 for 3, an infield single. Okay, take your time. Take your time. Wrap them up.
Yes.
And this ball game is over. So we break that 4-game losing streak. And Wimpy, Hector Noesi tonight was just awesome.
He was brilliant. He really kept the Sox in this ball game because Paxton was really dealing for the Mariners too, Hawk. It was a great ball game. And of course, the pitching was great by both teams. And unfortunately for the Mariners, as they would put it, a big error really cost them this game in the 10th.
And let's check out our GMC player of the game. It is Connor Gillespie knocking in Jordan Danks, who picked up a huge stolen base to get in position to score. Connor Gillespie, our GMC player of the game. So for my partner, the Whimperoo, Tom Pachorik, our director Jim Angio, our producer John Waldron, our associate producer Dave Ross, also for the Mayor Mean Joe Group, our technical manager Mark Harper.